Hello.
Hey,
Bells and bells. Kunjani?
Ngiyaphila njani? I thought bengithi yes, but it's all good as long as I'm visible
Yeah?
perfectly.
Yeah, ngiyakubona ngiyakuzwa.
Okay,
Just say
cool.
something. I'm just seeing your message about my headsets.
Angizwa?
Now I was saying just say something. I want to hear you because ngibona message yakho about my headsets.
Oh yeah. Can you? Am I good?
You
Is my
are, you
audio?
are. But let's ask our audience to give us the thumbs up or say yay if we are both loud and clear. Mina ngiyakuzwa. How
All
are
right.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Hmm. I'm good. I'm good. I'm still tired from the rain show, but no complaints otherwise.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Good work though. We are happy.
Happiness.
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff. Chejo, thank you. Chejo says we are nice, loud, and clear.
Oh.
Thank
Oh. Hey. Hey.
you. So,
Yakubona
uh,
mawukweleta bese sebavela ku-live stream ukuthi
sorry?
yeah
Utayezani?
ukuthi uma bakweleta bese bavela ku-live stream ngama-comments bakukhumbuza nje ukuthi
Oh, and kolota, oh, okay. I think I'm supposed to kolota in. Angiz- Angizingeni mina ngifuna ukuya in the, yeah. But anyway, thank you for accepting my invitation for tonight's live stream. Thanks to our guests as well, everyone that's listening in tonight and watching us. Just a disclaimer. You might hear a dog barking in the background or some commotion happening or whatever. So that will cause me to jump. But ngeke ngishiye unattended. Bale ngathi ufrizile manje.
no, I'm here.
Sharp.
Yeah, ngikhona. You seem fine on my side.
Angikho convinced.
No, you're fine. I can hear you perfectly fine. Maybe my
Yeah,
connection just get
yeah,
unstable now. But
yeah, yeah. No, Sipo, the dog is part of the dog is a prop in
it's
the
part of the
show.
show.
It's a prop. Anyway, without konje bathini ngesilungu bathi without further ado, ne, asingene kwi-show. So, uh, oh, by the way, ngine-load shedding ngo-8, like 8 p.m. So if we are still talking makushaye 8 and good dark la, you must just know that it's on. But ngicela uzi-introduce, you go by a couple of names on Facebook. Ngaqala ukubona siphe sihle ku-Facebook, but
Hey,
just
was it still that when we first knew each other?
no, mina ngithi ngikwazi ngombali, then ngabona ku-Facebook, ngabona ne-email address, siphe sihle, then I was like, okay, angazi kubhalwe ne-Home Affairs. So mhlawumbe you can start by just telling us what's on the Home Affairs side of things.
Oh, okay. Asia, no, it's a complicated story, that one, but I'll try to simplify it as best as I can.
Yeah.
Sipisihle is my first name. I think people I grew up with know me as Uspesihle, Uspe, Usihle. But I go by my second name now. I woke up one day and I decided to move to a different city and change my identity. And that went with changing my name. I started going by my second name. And wearing even shorter skirts, and I kept the purple lipstick as well. But on the real though, Mbali Mavundla, Mbali Mavundla Mthethwa. Like I said, I always have a problem telling people where I'm from because I grew up in two different places, but I still feel like I'm from neither one of those places, even though they've had a great impact on me. I spent the earliest parts of my childhood in Mpumalanga, and then later on, I went to a KZN. I think when I started my high school years, that's when, I went to KZN. But I was between, Mpumalanga and KZN, which is where I grew up. I think most people would know me as a poet. I don't write many poems anymore. I don't write a lot of poems anymore, but I still recite. Poetry will always be my first love. I think that is how I learned to express myself, from writing my own poems and reciting other people's poems. And other people know me as a writer in general, I studied journalism at TUT. So I had to certify the writing part of things, but I think writing for me started way before I even knew that I could write. It started just before high school. I was already writing like love poems, they were cute then, they were about boys. They were so innocent, and so young and so naive, but beautiful regardless, you know what I'm saying? And then gradually, I've just been writing different pieces every year. My writing career itself started when I enrolled for my journalism diploma. So when I finished high school, I went straight to the University of the Free State, where I studied a BA degree majoring in geography and English. I thought I was going to be a teacher. I know. I thought I was going to be a teacher. Obviously, I loved geography. Literature, yes, I loved it for obvious reasons. But geography, yes, I think it was sort of my, I aced it. I enjoyed the subject. I thought I was going to end up doing environmental sciences somewhere there. But I dropped out in my second year. Halfway through that degree, I was like, yo, peace, I am out. I left the Free State and I came to Pretoria. I had a friend in Pretoria who I felt like, just understood what I was going through at the time, just trying to find my way. And I came over for the holidays, for the June holidays. Guys, sorry about that. If you can hear the baby.
I could hear it like faintly, but I register until you just said that.
Kind of the future. So I moved to Pretoria. The Free State just it just stopped having meaning for me at that time. I had just lost my mom, so a lot of things just stopped having meaning for me. So then I left. I came to Pretoria to see this friend of mine who I felt like understood my pain because she had gone through like a similar thing earlier on. Then when I was here, I looked at my results and I was like, if I had to enroll for anything right now, because at home they didn't know that I had dropped out, so I had to like improvise and get myself back to school because it was never my plan to stay out of school. It's just that environment for me, it became something else. So I needed the change. I was yearning for the change. I enrolled for a journalism diploma, and then I finished that in 2016. In my final year, I worked as a junior journalist for TUT under the Corporate Affairs and Marketing. And from there, it's just been gig after gig after gig. That was late. Sorry.
Wow. Just tell us, okay, so I always want to visualize and picture locations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So between KZN and Mpumalanga, so you moved to Free State to go there and study.
Yeah, after matric.
Where did you move from? From the KZN side of your life or the Mpumalanga side?
The KZN side.
From the KZN. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Mbali at about what age that we are talking about here?
So I'm like 17 going for 18 now, right? Yeah, 18. Yeah. I think. Or was I 18? Oh, guys, it's been a minute. I just got exposed. I must have been 17 going for 18 somewhere there. Just after matric, I moved to the Free State. And I stayed there for 3 years. Well,
Wow.
2.5, because then I had to move, because then I dropped out. I started with a bridging course because I wanted to do science subjects.
Sure.
And I wasn't that good in science, but I had trust
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
capabilities.
Wow.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be Mbali. Where do you get that from? Like, just maybe your family background, your childhood, or you risk taker, no?
I think, hey, I think my family, is made up of very strong people.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I can assure you, I took it from my mom. It must have been because, that woman, I've never known her to ever be afraid of anything. You know what I'm saying? I must
Wow.
have taken it from her. I look like her, so I must be
Sure.
her.
Wow. That's poetic. The way you said, I must be her.
No, I told you I used to be a poet.
The poet just came out. Thank you, Karabo. Uh, Thank you, Karabu. Some people would say. Thank you. Very exciting. So, okay, so Free State, then you spent 3 years there, Besowaya at Pretoria,
Yeah,
where you did
yeah.
journalism.
Yeah, then I enrolled
Yeah.
in journalism. Yeah.
So, at which stage do you realize Uguti writing is your thing and this is your, as you say, your first love?
So you know what? Very interesting. In 2013, I met a bunch of cool people from Pretoria, who had come to the Free State for a show. Actually, igama lakho Masingita Mzilikazi.
Okay.
He was brought in by my then manager. So I had a manager back then, I know, doing poetry, because he believed in me more than I believed in myself.
Yeah,
He heard me recite once. He heard me recite once, and
sure,
he told me that him and I are going to do amazing things with all the things that I can say with my mouth.
sure.
Um, so I was like, hey, if you believe it, then I do as well. I was 18 then. I was so naive. So I didn't even know what he meant, until we went to Cape Town and then, started. Then I started getting paid through poetry. Then I realized, oh my gosh,
Wow.
this is actually something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he took me, right there and then is when I think I started taking it seriously, because whatever
Mm.
events they would have on campus, they would have me opening stages. I've opened stage for Zahara at UFS.
Wow.
I've shared a stage with Brian Temba. I've traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when it was. That's when it became pretty exciting for me, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a poet all my life. Until
Sure.
I realized that poets are broke. Then that changed because I love money more than anything. That's not the only reason, but and it just started making sense. And I had to shift from poetry. Yeah, how did we even get here?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that was me. That was in 2011. Yeah,
Wow, 2011.
I got my first paying gig. Yeah.
Wow. I'm just trying to picture what being Guppy 2011.
I was doing my first year at the University of the Free State, 2011. Exciting
Wow.
times, exciting
Very
times.
inspiring, but so so you and I we met in the entrepreneurship spaces,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship space, right? So I would like for you to connect the dots between you moving from what you've just highlighted,
From
poetry, museum.
being a personal trainer. Hey.
Yeah, take us through everything that you went through up until obviously the time or the spaces where you
Yeah. So yeah, while busy with my journalism diploma in my final year, I remember I was interning at TUT there, at corporate affairs and marketing. And just towards the end of the year, I realized that I wasn't going to be there for a really long time.
had.
I think for me it was the mundane activities of the everyday, just, having to anticipate what's going to happen. I could tell you on Mondays, I'm doing this for this platform. On Tuesday, I'm doing this. On Wednesday, at a certain point, once I was over the learning, once I had gotten, my teachings, it became very boring. So, the second best thing for me then was my gym. So I started training in 2014. I became very obsessed with gym. I still love it even now. But I think 2015, 2016, it was so in my head that I was competing in like bodybuilding competitions. And university, I know. And what knocked me down off that horse actually was that I did my very first bodybuilding competition. I mean, on a national level. I mean, we did it, amongst ourselves, amongst universities, but I mean, local schools. But I mean, going out, meeting other universities and all of that, that was like my first stage, with bodybuilding. And I got third place. And that broke my heart because there was only 3 of us there. And I thought it was ridiculous. I was thinking to myself, I thought I was the best looking one here at this stage, but apparently not. I still fought, because I feel like I was very heavy then. I was training 6 times a week. I was having like 6-7 meals a day. I was supplementing. I was on a diet. I had a coach. So it hit me really hard. And then, I was like, never again. I'm never going to compete, But the love for me, gym was so therapeutic for me, the love was still there. So I still wanted to do something else with that. Gym took me out of a very dark place in my life. And I honestly just wanted to give other women that. That's when I started my mobile gym. I started actually with a classmate of mine. She was my first client, we talked actually. And I think we trained for about 3 or 4 weeks. And then I was like, okay, I can actually do this. If she could approach me and think that we can actually do this, who am I to doubt that? So then I started, thinking about it on a much bigger scale. And then I just started a mobile gym, put it up on Facebook, try to find communities, and that's how we met. Because you were one of the communities, BrownSense was actually one of the communities where I had advertised myself and actually gotten like a whole lot of clients, which is how I started, because I was in Pretoria. I was studying in TUT, but I ended up having clients in Pretoria and Joburg at the time. There were other people in the other provinces, but I couldn't make it to them. That's how we met. I did that until, I think I did that for about 5 or 6 months. Training housewives in their houses. It was fun. It was great. That was a great experience. I collaborated with a couple of people. And then 6 months down the line, things changed completely for me once again.
So you once told me the name of this gym. Konji, what was it?
Fresh Milk Bodies.
I knew it. I knew, because I remember you told me, and I was like, that's a cool sounding name.
I know, right? Fresh milk. Yeah. I think it's dope.
It's a cool name. Ningal Jones. Because you can do like a product range, like fresh milk water.
Yeah, why are you in my head? Wait. Don't tell me.
Fresh milk, whatever. You understand? Hey, sorry, what's in it?
That was strictly for women. Yeah, I only used to train women because I'd go to come to your house with my training equipment. So to make it safer for myself, it had to be only women.
Is that something you would get back to?
Training.
Yeah, as in the business side of it.
So I still train some people on Zoom. If you are close enough to me as a friend, I can offer you those services.
Or nothing not join. So say, is it open to everyone now?
Women only. Even on the internet, they can
I
find
think
things.
the internet. What will?
Yeah. I still do it on a part-time basis. I think right now, when I do try to branch out, because I've got a 9 to 5 now. I'm that person. When I do branch out, I branch out from a digital services point of view. That's what I offer now. But yeah, I've trained some friends. Yeah, I still do as a favor.
I see. No, for sure, man. Hey, I want us to use this chance to segue into the main reason why we are here tonight. So last year, I think last year, ne? You'll correct me. Last year or early this year, you
Last
published
month.
a book. Hey, I've lost track of time. Hey, COVID thing was shit.
It's cool.
Yo, so you said last month. So you published a book, mainly for kids. I would
Yeah.
like to believe that it's also for parents. I'll speak my case while I say it. And when I saw it the first time you posted about that, I was like, this is something. When we talk about early child development,
Yeah.
we never really stop to think, Uguti, outside of the usual suspects, we see what else are we talking about in terms of
Yeah.
the sooner we equip our children with certain skills or whatever.
The better.
Yeah?
Yeah, most definitely.
So you published a would I be correct to call it a K53 book for children?
Yeah. The streets call it the K3 Junior.
Yeah. Before we get into that, the title and all of that, what inspired you to do that?
Crazy. So in 2018, right? I found myself in Limpopo. Like I said, every time a place is not feeling like a place I should be at, I move. So in 2018, I found myself in Limpopo. I was working as a receptionist for a car workshop,
Mm.
BBC VC Moto, buy and sell, all of that, and I was working the front desk. So my employer at the time had, a couple of community projects that he was running. And in one of those projects, he was helping kids, school kids in their matric, the driving age is 18. He was helping them, obtain their driver's license, all expenses paid by the workshop. Yeah, so he ran this past me because he was just looking for solutions, and his thing was, listen, I'm struggling, I cannot be with these kids all the time, to take them through all the material and everything, but I'm paying for them to get their licenses, but most of them have to repeat or go to like 3 times because they're failing. And at that time I actually didn't have my license, and he said, no, you go, I trust you, you go, find out how the process is. And yeah, I found the K53 to be like a pretty intricate book, even for me as a graduate at the time. So yeah, then we sat down, had a chat, and we were like, yeah, I think the solution is to find a way to simplify this content, because it can be so overwhelming. It can be so overwhelming, to learn how to drive, to learn the stop signs, learn the rules of the road and all of that. And then now let's learn how to drive. I think in South Africa, maybe you get about a month, a month to 5 weeks, to be able to grasp all that information. And the best way we came up with, to minimize that gap or to try and close that gap was to bring in the information, introduce the information earlier to kids. And how do we do that? Simplifying the K53 that's already there, taking it down to that these kids can understand. And yeah, we actually started on the project. I started writing the book last year in May. I think it was the 2nd of May. Yeah. And then, just about 8-10 months later, we launched it. last month on the 5th of March. That's how it came about. Yeah. So basically, it was just about how do we simplify this information from kids at a young age. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My phone is ringing.
Baptist, bakubheke ku-TV. But I can. It's bakubheka kancane, please, guys.
Eish, yeah, eish, angazi ngizobenzela and ufuna mina,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
That's a beautiful story, Mbali. So I'm gonna show the image for the benefit of our viewers at home, or at the office at office. So the name of it is called Kids on the Road. Junior Driving Manual, Basic Road Knowledge and Introduction into the World of Driving for Minors. You told me a very interesting thing. So you were one of the people who were trading at the Ren show this past long weekend, no? And you shared something that's very, like, it got me thinking, because I'm a parent too, and I mean, my first born una 12, second born is 6, last born una 5, and I'm like, this is something that I would get for them, like all 3 of them. Already my youngest, my boys, whenever we are on the road, they'll point at a road sign and say, because they teach them these things at crèche, né? Stop sign, robot maiso, what does it mean, those types of things. And then those that they don't understand, like humps and that kind of stuff, they'll ask me. But for me, it tells me that the interest is there, the foundation is there, basically, in terms of Gunama sign that sort of direct people how to behave on the road.
Yeah.
You told me about some parents at the Ren show, Beba Kuluma Guti, but it will encourage children to steal the car now and get on the road and do reckless things. I don't know what inspires. Like, I can't relate. I was like, that's very weird. and maybe we have parents listening in. Maybe you guys can comment and say, like, Nami as a parent, Saba. But I'm very curious. What do you make of it? Yeah.
Yes, that reminded me of a conversation I had not so long ago with a friend, because I'm at that age, where I can have comfortable conversations about having kids. Yeah, keyword being comfortable.
Yeah.
And I said to him, it's a man, by the way, and I said to him, I'm very skeptical about raising my kids in Joburg, because they're going to be exposed to so much. I want them, I want them to experience the fun life. I want them, to know the struggle, exactly what it is. And he said to me, that's fine. Mine are 10, while the kids in China are coding. And that got me thinking, oh yeah, Gonje, at some point later on, after they've grown up, after they're no longer a kid, I would want them to have a progressive life without me in it. It took me back to that conversation, because I feel like I was that parent then.
Okay,
yes. But now I'm the writer. I think the best thing we can do as parents is to empower the kids with knowledge. What they decide to do with that information is up to them, because anything we do as parents will traumatize kids. You can give them too much money, you will traumatize them. You can take all the money away, you can still traumatize them. I feel like we're not in control, but information, resources in this time, in this day and age, these things are so important, because they empower them tomorrow, in the absence of us as parents. So definitely, I don't think that's the way to think about it. Really, think about the kids who are coping at 10. And also, Mzu, kids are already driving before they're even 18. They're driving at 12 years old. I mean, I don't know how many times on Twitter, hey, driving a Maserati, grade 11 kid is driving a Maserati to class. Where do you think that Maserati comes from? Like, you understand? So it's a matter of how do we make them an active part of this community that they are so interested in, because kids are interested in the world of driving and in the world of cars. Yeah, that's what I think.
Unomakhelwane la, but his or her name doesn't show because it means they didn't sign up using the StreamYard link. So
I wonder who my neighbor is. Please. It's probably Matawi. I hope it's Matawi. She was selling some honey beverages without.
So you touched on a very key point, but I think, when you talk about the farm life and all that, I think there's space for that too, as in a hybrid approach, because there's good to learn from excuse me, from both worlds. Where if there was a way to do AMA exchange programs, where you take city kids with what they know by Makaya and learn farm life, and the other way around, and get them in the same space to also learn. And do you understand what I'm saying? So I think a mistake that we make as city people is that we so discount life yasemakaya to the point of ayikho into ezosenzela yona in terms of advancement, which is not
given the chance, I go back there every day. The city is really not my favorite place.
Yeah. Nosipo raises a good point here about digital inclusion and development for all, and not limited in terms of location. Again, I think touching on the point I've just made. So do you see, how far this thing goes? We are talking about a book here, but here we are now also talking about digital stuff.
No, you know what my dream is, Mzu? Because we are in the process of building like a car, and my pedals, nice little pedals, steering
Don't
wheel.
give away the secret sauce, by the way. Just
to give kids that experience. But technology, I think, will be, the key driving force to that. Even now, I am forcing people to buy the book on a digital platform, and that is the greatest challenge, because people will still want, no, they want to go buy the book, physically. Just a bit, guys. You can come in. Sorry.
Are we hitting a pause moment here?
Thank you, boy.
Hello, boy. Some of us can read Simbonile uthi utheni. Sorry, you were saying, I hope you haven't lost track of your thoughts.
Oh, sorry about that. There are so unexpected.
You were thinking about some people who are from bookstores and stuff.
Oh yes, yeah. That's my biggest challenge right now. The digital thing. As much as the government has been preaching for IR, I don't think we're there yet fully. And I'm posing this to parents, because it's parents who are buying the books for the kids. And the thing is, okay, and then when I get here, what do I do? But I feel like my process is so simplified up to an extent to see anything else would be overdoing it. I might as well charge you to take you through the platform type thing, But yeah, technology is still, somewhat a challenge, and I feel like we can do better.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'm gonna share a link here, how people can get your book. And then if I want to get the book, how much does it cost?
Is that a question from you?
How? And I need to represent the audience.
So that's a question from the audience.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like we should have had this discussion before we came onto this platform.
Oh, no, it's easy. So is it for free?
The best things in life aren't free. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. Exactly. So as a
Um,
parent, how much do I invest? What's the investment for the book?
yes, Mzu. So we are having an internal conversation um, with regards to this specifically.
Mm,
I don't want to say anything because tomorrow morning I might just put up a post and say, okay, this is what we've agreed on.
mm,
But the Easter special, the book was going for 169, and that will be until end of April. Um,
169 until end of April.
yes,
Okay.
until end of April.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Can I tell you a story about, and maybe for the benefit of our audience, because we had this conversation, I don't
Yes.
know when, over the Easter weekend show,
Yeah.
and I used the word investment in Amabom, because I find that when you flip how you look at something, it helps, like it changes the lens of how you look at it. I'll give you an example. So there's a guy I used to know. He used to be one of our merchants at the BrownSense market. Did food, amakota, are nice, like very nicely made, like gourmet type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he opened a restaurant somewhere in town at Joburg, and he was starting to get interest, from corporates that want to use him for catering and stuff like that. And then one day he lost an order because he was on the road. I forget the place where people go to buy veggies, but it's a drop in a Joburg. It will come to mind, or someone, if you guys know it, please just share with my comments. But I asked him, would look, why don't you get someone that will help you with that? And then, whether you don't have to hire them as a full-time employee, but you outsource that that service or that need for your business. And
Mm, mm.
and until I asked him the question, he was looking at that as a cost. Ayadura annamal. Then I
Okay.
said to him, but do you realize that the businesses that you will lose are worth more than what you will pay this individual? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Ngekumpatha the same ROI for you being, either you or someone in your business being able to say, now you coach for me to come and service, I don't know how many people, let's say 30 people at the finance department, yes, Anglo Gold or whatever company that is
Yeah.
asking for a code. So the same way, another story, the storyteller, there's a
We
guy
know.
called Uzombiza ngegama, this one, Enoch. You might have come across a guy called Enoch the artist, Enoch M. Enoch one time posted so if you've seen a guy who tweets a lot, I'm a fridge where he does paintings on I'm a fridge, especially last year, let me say late last year, maybe mid last year, early this year, on I think Samsung tried to get on top of that.
But our cover did nice covers. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, he did one like where he was selling about t-shirts for 600 rand. So t-shirts with his artwork. Yeah?
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when he posted that, and people were like, a t-shirt here, 600 rand. Oh yeah, sure. They were like that. Then my comment was that Velos or color, if you look at it as a t-shirt, but if you look at it as an art piece from
Yeah.
Enoch and the artist, then you're going
Mm.
to realize how actually cheap and like widely so at that
Yeah.
rate. Do you understand? Like, so it's the same thing, but see better different. You get the point.
I do. And it's so painful for me to have to go through back and forth with this because at the end of the day, it's my work. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Whatever price I put on it, I feel like it's worth it, considering
yeah.
time, energy, and the sleepless nights. Other than that, it's my baby.
But what I'm saying to you, sorry to cut him, but so what I'm saying, that's you, and I don't care about that. You are the one who decided not to sleep. It's your baby. It's not my. Mara, mamela, Mara. If you come to me as a parent and convince me that it's an investment for my child, now it's about me and my child.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. And I feel like just beyond kids, the book can be used in Abbott schools, It's at that level where people in Abbott schools can make reference and start driving. Because abanye babo, they start driving later on. But then what happens if, the material is not simplified as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so just beyond kids, there's that element as well. And because it serves just a wide spectrum of people, I feel like the book is not expensive at all.
Exactly. And I hope this is, I hope it is. I'll check. I can only check my sister. I think it should be streaming on Twitter. So let's take it. Minister with Transport.
Yes, transport. No,
If one is listening about Twitter, please guys do the note like like for real, like coming from an academic kind of a background, I think there's little emphasis on the kind of training, practical, and this for me is one of them. That's why people look down on trades, trade skills like being a plumber, electrician, and whatever. And what they don't know, which some of these people, maybe a lot of them, are actually making a lot more money than your so-called white collar type professions and all that. It's just that Bonabazangama overall blue and
maybe that's not even
yeah.
It's not even a maybe for me. I know it's true. Those people make money. If you can trade a skill anyway, you are the one responsible. You're definitely making more money than me sitting in an office at a 9 to 5 answering to somebody.
That's true. It's a change of mindset for real that we need. So I've shared the link, for people whoever.
Awesome. Yes.
But when we find you with social media, we want to follow you, or if the group, not the group, I mean the book has a page that we can follow.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So besides Paystack, the book is available at a bookshop in Melville called the Book Circle Capital at 27 boxes. So people can also access the book there as well. And maybe in the near future at your nearest retailer. We can only so you can find us on Facebook as Kids on the Road. You'll see it, it's blue and yellow, very distinctive. Leave us a message there if really you're having trouble with the platform. We also have a WhatsApp button there, so you can just send us a WhatsApp anytime there's somebody who's going to take you through anything that you might need. So basically, I think,
I'll get the link.
Sorry, Mzu. Yeah, and then people can find me on Facebook. I don't write too many poems these days, but I Mbali Mavundla.
Mbali Mavundla. Let me share the link. I've shared the link to your page.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna share the link to your profile. So mawuthola ama-friend request kumele basho ukuthi ngikuthole because of i-live stream. Bangangeni ngama-side way or what. But in fact, the first thing they say in the DM must be link your Paystack.
Yeah, vele. And these days in Shelo kanjalo vele. I just, if you like me, buy my book. Let me see how much you like me. No, the one you're gonna make.
Look, Snabashana, that one is for sure, you know.
You know what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So we can do it for them too. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I think I've got 13 minutes before Bangtabelu guess. Before goodbye Dark City. But I enjoyed our conversation. The next one, Enzo invite Aguyo, it's going to be about poetry. I didn't want to, so come prepared. Zo recite, or like a matendela, you
No,
know,
guys,
just
I'm
put the
not
umbrella.
poetry that can go to my wall and reminisce there with me.
You know, at least I've given you warning. I could have put you on the spotlight. I was sharing you one. Shaira station one before Sahab.
And it was going to be so weird because my poetry is so dark, right?
To some parents, I want,
Dark. I just think it's
yeah.
different.
I look to some parents right now. We just want them to know,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm easy today.
you
You know,
know,
I'm a good girl
yeah,
today.
yeah. But no, I'm really serious. We'll do it. Let me put you on the spotlight now. I've got
Hosting an open mic. Ngifuna kube yi-battle Mzu.
19th May. Full Assembly Battle.
Yeah, ngifuna ukwenza i-battle like yeah. Ngifuna ukuba-challenge everyone. You know, I
Yeah,
just want
man.
to see if I still got it. You know, because I used to have it.
Yes, nothing palaba. I'm a poem. My love
Asabi
for you flows like the river.
ama-70s. Hey. Ninjalo.
Ama-poem kaWilson Inkosi. Ngizokufundela ama-lyrics aweculo. Ngithi
Hey,
nayi
ukukhumbula
poem
uSipho
ebhalile.
Sunday. No, let's not do that.
Yeah.
That was, you know, that's Kulisa, you know.
Let's respect our elders. Askisi Godman.
No, with all due respect. I mean, you know, if you make an everlasting impact, of course, we'll always remember you. So shout
For
out.
sure. For sure. For sure. Anyway, have a good evening. Tina
Thank you so
Suzaki.
much. It's been so lovely. Thank you,
Yeah.
people. You know, you've been with us.
Sithengele
It's just
incwadi bazalwane, buy it for your kids, your
for your
nephews,
grandma.
nieces, and for yourself, man. Hey, like
Yes. Yeah, a lot of drivers like South Africa actually they don't know how to drive. Oh, I was on road signs.
yeah,
So yes, I mean, even high school kids can always make reference to the book as well. So I feel like the way it is set up, you know, it's meant to be revolutionary, you know, in
yeah,
every kind of way. I'm hoping to see the book getting adopted, you know, in other parts of South Africa as well, not just in other parts of Africa, not just South Africa. So
yeah.
yeah,
That
you know,
would be a very yeah.
thank you for the platform, so
But with
appreciate
ngamanye language, I think Milesh is a
it. Once,
translation of Swahili. The Swahili
once,
version.
I
Yeah,
like that. I will credit you.
yeah, it's only 2%.
I said I will credit.
2%.
I said what I said. No, ngiyabonga kakhulu Mzu, you know.
Brilliant. Before Hamba, by the way, one of the things that we like obsessed about as a BrownSense is collaboration. So one of the things I told Mbali about was we had a trader at the market called Mbali Africa, I think that's what they are called. Mbali, I think I need to introduce you to them, like formally. I see synergy somewhere somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then someone that I also invited to join as one of our audience members, I'll introduce you to her. Ngimtsipela ihlo right.
Uzokwazi.
WhatsApp combat must get a list stream. Thanks, Mbali. Have a good evening. Ne?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brownies. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Sure.
So, thank you guys. Bye.